Hi everybody, welcome back to the channel. This is the channel dedicated to the beginner of the DCS World Digital Combat Simulator. I'm currently sitting in an F-18 that I have purchased from DCS. I will do a video explaining exactly what you get when you purchase one of these jets. This is a fully interactive cockpit, and we are going to go through the startup procedure today and the taxi and takeoff. Alright? So, well, without further ado, let's get on with it. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to come over here to the battery, and we're going to do a right click, turn it on. Battery switch on. Okay, got some lights, and this screen over here will light up. Okay, we're going to come over here, and we are going to do our audible emergency systems test for bus A and bus B, and that's just going to be a left and right click. Each one you required to hold the button down until the system has done its check, wait 10 seconds, and then hold the button down for the other bus. So right now I'm going to do a left click.
Engine fire left. Engine fire left. Engine fire right. Engine fire right. APU fire. APU fire. Bleed air left. Bleed air left. Bleed air right. Bleed air right.
Okay, and we'll wait 10 seconds and we'll do it again. Okay, that should be long enough. Now I'm going to do a right click.
Engine fire left. Engine fire left. Engine fire right. Engine fire right. APU fire. APU fire. Bleed air left. Bleed air left. Bleed air right. Bleed air right.
Okay, all done. That's probably the longest thing that you got to wait for on this startup. Other thing that they suggest you look for is just make sure that your brake pressure is at 3000 psi, and it is. So we're going to turn on the APU, the auxiliary power unit. You should hear that fire up. It's almost like a mini jet engine in the jet. I didn't even know this thing was there. I'm not a real fighter pilot, so it was cool. It's cool to find these things out. We'll wait for the green light to come on, and we are ready to start one of the jet engines. So we're going to do a right click. Okay, engine crank switch. See, what you'll see over here on the engine panel, you'll see this RPM, and what this is doing is spinning the blades, actual fan blades in the jet, getting it ready. Now this is the one thing that I had to put in the HOTAS. I needed a switch for this. There was no way to click this or anything, so and even moving the throttle didn't work. So this was going to apparently give fuel to the jet engine and get it going. So here we go. Click it up, see the throttle move, and you see the temperature of the engine getting up as she begins to ramp up. Okay, so while we're doing that, we're going to turn on our multifunctional indicators. Alright, and that's a right click. Double right click on that one.
Flight control.
Double right click on
Flight
that one.
control.
Okay, those are going to warm up for us. And then we're going to come over here and we're going to turn the brightness on our HUD up. Now this is taking the mouse and going up and to the right. And it is a left click. Up and to the right, and there's your HUD coming up. And then we're going to come over here for this screen right here. We're going to turn it on and brighten it up, and it's the exact same thing. Click, and up and to the right, and away it goes. It just takes a few minutes for that to warm up. So while that's all warming up, we're going to come over here, and because we did that check, the bleed air has to be recycled, so we're going to hit it left. Click on that, and we're going to bring that around right back to the beginning. This is the 360-degree turn all the way around. Over here, we're going to come over to our navigation right here, and we're going to do a right click, bring it to ground, so it will begin to orientate itself. You see, pulling away. I'm going to bring the jet with me. See if this thing, there we go. Brings it back. Okay. And really while we're here, we might as well turn the radar on. It's on ground, so we're not going to radiate anybody. Okay. Come back over here to our screens, and right here you can see on that screen it says TAC. We're going to click on that, and now it says Supplement, SUPT, and then we're going to go Flight Control Systems, and we're going to click on that, and this brings up everything. Here's all our flight controls and where they are situated right now, and here's the errors. The X's indicate errors, but that's just because we're just beginning to start up, so no big deal. We're going to turn our master caution off, and then we're going to push it one more time to reset it. Okay. It's time to start the other engine, so we're now going to do a left click, and we're going to start up the other engine with my button on the HOTAS, and up the other throttle. There it is, clicked in. Other engine spinning up. Perfect. Alright, and then we're going to come over here with it, and we are going to close our canopy. Good seal. I like to toggle my mirrors down. Okay, once we get the other engine up and running, everything's looking good there. Everything's looking good there. We're going to put our flaps back up to flight mode. We are going to come over here, turn on our oxygen so we can breathe in here. Okay. But we're going to reset our faults, which is right here. And there, all the little X's are gone. Okay. No warnings, no anything, so that's all looking really, really good. Okay, so we're going to just do a flight control test now. This is another one where I had to, it's this switch way over here. It's the bit switch. So what we're going to do, and that sound you just heard, I don't know if you heard it, but the APU just shuts down. Both the jet engines are now producing its own electrical power, so the APU shuts down. Okay, next thing we're going to do is we're going to go over here to this screen, and we're going to push the FCS button to bring up this screen. Now, here's the trick. You have to hold this button and click this button right here. So, can't do that with one mouse. So, I did set this button up to a HOTAS switch. So, let's give that a whirl. And while holding that up, we're going to click that. And over here, you'll see a whole bunch of numbers moving. And if you look out the window, you can see the flight controls moving around as the jet does a test of the flight control systems. And then you will hear a beep, just like that, when it's all done. Okay, we're almost ready to get this guy moving. So what we're going to do is we're going to click on the menu button down here, and we're going to go, and we're going to go where, you know what, I'm a little ahead of myself, sorry. We'll go back to the flight control systems, okay. We are going to reset our rudder to half for flight, or I'm sorry, not rudder, silly. Those are my flaps. Set the flaps down to half. Over here, this is the rudder control trim, and we're going to push this button here. That's a left click. All right, and then if you look at the screen over here, okay, stabilizers are at 12, 12, and the rest are in the 30s. Okay, that's where they're supposed to be. Okay, so everything there is looking good. So what we're going to do is we're going to come back to this screen. Hit menu. We'll be on the TAC screen, and we're going to turn on the HUD. It's just a exact duplication of this HUD down here. Okay. For this one, we are going to go back menu, and we're going to go into supplement, and we're going to put on the FCS, which is basically what we had here, but we're putting it over here. Okay, guys, I think we're just about ready to get this bird on the way. There's your parking brake. It has to be turned off, and I do believe it's a left click. Yep, folds back in. Okay. Everything is looking good for our taxi. Okay. So if you want to have fun with it, we can salute, we can ask for our chocks to be removed, but we don't need to. So we're going to taxi out to the runway. Let's get this girl going. There she goes. Taxi out of our parking area. Again, I don't have pedals. I'm using the twist on my stick. Eventually I'll get pedals. I've heard it takes a little getting used to having pedals, but I guess there's a lot more controllability with the pedals. So, all right, we're heading out to the runway. Alright, put the brakes on here. Stop just short of the runway. Let's do our last checks. We're going to arm our ejection seat. That is a left click down so that you see the armed indicator right there. Come over here, tighten up your safety harness. All good and tight. Do a final check on your systems. Make sure your flaps are in the right place. No errors over there. Let's change our navigation to nav. Everything good, looks good here. Okay, so we're ready to taxi out onto the runway. Typically you would ask for permission, but we're not going to do that today. Again, I think that's one of the shortcomings with DCS. It would be great if we could just assign one button on our HOTAS to access communications, and then be able just to verbalize the commands you would want. Even if it was just down to, you could look up at the menu and say F12, right? Very hard to do. There's a lot of buttons when it comes to communications. It would be a lot of buttons to take up on your HOTAS. Okay, so we're ready to take off. F-18 apparently requires takeoff in full afterburner, so that's what we're gonna do. All right, here we go. They suggest apparently the F-18 will take off on its own. They recommend just a slight, tiny pullback on the stick, and she will lift off. All right, so you can see that's about as much as I am pulling back on the stick. Okay, basically I'm just letting my hand rest. Okay, let's do it. Let's get the sucker going. Now, it would just be slight controls, taps with the rudder, and we are up. Now, I'm actually pushing forward. Okay, so let's get our gear in. Gears up. Could have done that with the mouse, but chose not to. And let's get our flaps in. I've got that set up on my HOTAS. Bring it out of afterburner. And that's it, ladies and gentlemen. We're up. We're in our F-A-18, and we are flying. everybody. So that's the video for today. I hope you enjoyed it. If you liked it, please leave a like. Subscribe for more content. And please leave a comment. I welcome all your comments. Again, thank you very much and have a really wonderful day.